Now at 6:30.
I think that it is the most likely to avert the most risk.
Nelsonville is just months away from its new form of government with one major issue: what officials are proposing as a potential solution to the so-called December problem.
Plus,
it's clear they could bring him back.
The Maryland man wrongly deported to El Salvador is back in the U.S. and now facing charges. What officials are saying about his return.
And bad blood brews between Elon Musk and President Trump, with Musk making sweeping allegations against the president. What this means for the future of Musk's government contracts. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Noah Cavan.
And I'm Courtney Smith. Welcome to Newswatch.
Now, we've got a lot to get to tonight, but first let's hand it over to forecaster Steve Nedlick for a look at the weather. Steve?
Yeah, guys, hot and humid was really the story we had today, and it was really a lot nicer out than we really thought it was going to be at the beginning of today. Again, we're right around the mid-80s again, so pretty warm one out today. And right now, we're just pretty clear, which all things considered is pretty nice, but it does mean that we are still kind of in store for maybe some showers as we go later in the night. Some scattered showers everywhere basically but Athens. North of us got hammered earlier today, and as you can see south, there's a lot of showers there too. So we're going to be tracking some thunderstorms as we go later in the day. You can really tell here on the temperature map where it got storms and where it didn't. It's a lot cooler up in New Philadelphia, 72. Here in Athens, it's still 85. Tonight, again, we got to be on the lookout for, these longer storms that are going to maybe roll in as we get later into the night. But this won't affect us heading into tomorrow, as we think most of the storms are going to be over by the time we all wake up in the morning. So tomorrow should just have a few lingering showers, but we'll track what this weekend looks like later.
Thank you so much, Steve. Jeep owners are gathering in Chillicothe this weekend to celebrate their love for their car.
Jeep Fest is kicking off today with vendors, races, and more. Newswatcher reporter Megan Acker is live at the Ross County Fairgrounds with the latest.
Courtney and Noah, Jeep owners or Jeepers have come out from all over southeastern Ohio today. It's the 8th anniversary of Ohio Jeep Fest, and organizers have a full weekend planned. Vendors have been here since noon, and in just minutes, the Trail Raider Challenge will be starting. Competitors will race for cash prizes of up to $500. After that, Jeep barrel racing, and then a kickoff party that will start at 9. Tomorrow morning, Jeepers will show off their vehicles during a car show before competing in a Barbie Jeep race, where competitors will race downhill in miniature toy cars. Attendees will end Saturday night with a concert featuring Gavin Payne. If you didn't get the chance to come today, you can still buy tickets at the website listed online at the website listed on your screen. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Megan Acker, live in Chillicothe. Courtney and Noah, back to you.
Thanks, Megan. The committee advising the Nelsonville City Council on the switch to a statutory form of government plans on making some recommendations next week.
The committee is expected to tell the council it needs to begin the process to let candidates run for 1-month term at the end of the year. Newswatch reporter Joshua Horner joins us in the studio with more details and what else the committee discussed at its meeting last night. Josh?
Yeah, Courtney and Noah, that recommendation expected from the committee is to address the city's so-called December problem. Under Issue 23, council members under the statutory form of government won't take office until January 2026. And that is because of an issue, but when all but one of the current city council members' terms at the end of November, leaving only one person on council for December, and essentially leaving Nelsonville without functioning government. The ad hoc committee recommends allowing voters to elect council members for a term that lasts for the month of December, and then elect members for full 2-year terms that will start in January. Committee Chair Reed Courtney says a month-long term is, quote, the least bad solution.
I just, I think that it is the most likely to avert the most risk. And obviously it's not great. It's going to be hard to get people to run for those.
But if nobody runs to fill out the month-long term, another option would be for the lone council member to appoint another member for the month of December. Then those two could appoint another, and so on, until at minimum the council had 4 members. The December problem was not the only issue brought up at last night's meeting. Among other concerns, the committee also spoke about potential ordinances and resolutions needed for the new council taking office in January. Courtney is expected to have a proposal to council in August for anything that might need passed immediately on January 1st. This would then give the current council enough time to look over the transition plan and give suggestions to the future council. The next city council meeting is this Monday. The ad hoc committee will also host another meeting on Thursday if they need to review the guidebook from the Ohio Municipal League. If they don't need to meet, their next scheduled meeting is set for Tuesday, June 17th. The Ohio League of Women's Voters will host their third ward map meeting on June 16th at the Nelsonville Public Library, the same day the city was founded back in 1818. Nelsonville City Council has not yet released their agenda for Monday, but Courtney plans to continue discussion with Council. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Joshua Herner, live in studio.
Thank you so much, Josh. After last year's setback because of a cyber scam that cost the city thousands, Athens is preparing to make its final payment for its new fire station. Back in November, the city lost more than $700,000 to scammers that infiltrated an email chain between Pepper Construction and the Athens city government. The final payment will cost $932,000. City Council read an ordinance to authorize the payment from a variety of funding sources on Monday. Council is expected to vote on it this coming Monday. The final payment increased by more than $200,000 because the city added a parking lot, helped build a fitness court, and maintain the green space around the fire station. The Trump administration appointed Ohio House Representative Don Jones to serve in the USDA's Farm Service Agency in Ohio. Jones will serve as the state executive director, where he will oversee the delivery of FSA programs to agricultural producers in Ohio. Jones represented District 95 and was in his fourth term in the Ohio House, where he chaired the Agriculture Committee and served on the Natural Resource, Finance, and Education Committees. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources is taking a major blow to its budget. In the Senate's changes to the state budget, ODNR's Parks and Recreation budget would take a 50% cut in fiscal year 2026 and a 13% cut, in fiscal year 2027. The amendment also redirects royalty payments from fracking in state parks. Originally, ODNR was set to make $30 million from those royalties. Under the new changes, those royalties will now be used to fill holes created by the budget cuts.
Ohio House Republicans say a new piece of legislation could bring billions of property tax relief. The Property Tax Relief Now Act is a combination of several previous pieces of legislation. Supporters say taxpayers need relief because of the rising expenses and amid increasing property tax rates. The bill would limit growth of the property taxes for public schools and would create a new tax credit for homeowners. It also would give local governments the power to expand homestead tax exemptions, which minimizes property taxes for homeowners to include people in need. The bill has not been assigned to a committee. In Washington, President Trump administration is petitioning the Supreme Court to allow mass layoffs at the Department of Education to go forward. The emergency appeal landed at the High Court today, days after the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lower court ruling halting the layoffs. In its filing, the White House argues its efforts to slash the department involve, quote, internal management decisions. President Trump has repeatedly vowed to eliminate the Department of Education, but it was created by Congress and lower courts have ruled. Only Congress has the power to dismantle it.
More than half of Americans are concerned about proposed Medicaid cuts. The poll by KFF shows a majority of Americans fear the House GOP's sweeping economic package will hurt their families' ability to obtain and afford health care. Democrats and independents are more likely to feel this way compared to Republicans and Trump supporters. But 1/3 of Republicans polled voiced concern about the legislation having a negative impact on their families. Despite proposed cuts, some senators say the president is still standing strong behind Medicaid.
President Trump has the biggest platform on earth, and the platform that he's advocating for is to prevent that $4 trillion tax increase, fund our military, secure our border, and strengthen Medicaid.
The bill would add more restrictions to Medicaid, including work requirements and checking enrollees' eligibility more often. The Congressional Budget Office estimates under the bill, nearly 11 million people could be uninsured by 2034. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador has been returned to the U.S. to face federal criminal charges.
Kilmer Abrigo Garcia has been indicted on 2 criminal counts for allegedly transporting undocumented migrants within the U.S. According to the indictment, some of those who were allegedly transported were members of the gang MS-13.
He was deported in March, and the Trump administration has been locked in an intense standoff with the federal judiciary over court orders, for the government to facilitate his return. Now that Garcia is back in the U.S., some politicians are calling for the returns of other deported people.
I think it's important to remember that just up until yesterday, apparently, The Trump administration was saying they couldn't bring him back. He was outside of their control and their jurisdiction. It's clear they could bring him back, and hopefully they'll bring back the other 250 plus Venezuelans and others who are in this odd status of deportation.
Bondi says if convicted, Abrego Garcia will serve his sentence in the U.S. and will then be deported back to El Salvador. Abrego Garcia and his family have denied allegations he's an MS-13 member.
This week in Washington, a high-stakes social media feud.
What started as a criticism of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill became a heated and public disagreement between tech mogul Elon Musk and President Donald Trump.
Julia Benbrook is at the White House with the details.
This back and forth played out much like a reality TV show, with President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk trading barbs on social media. Musk is, of course, a big Trump donor and played a key role on the campaign trail. Trump elevated Musk by making him a special government employee, and for the first 130 days of Trump's second term, Musk had a leading role of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, with the stated goal of rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse within the federal government. But in just a few short months, the two went from praising one another.
He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person.
I think President Trump is a good man. Not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong.
To publicly feuding. The cracks in their relationship started to show when Musk criticized Trump's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, adding that he believes it would undermine his work at DOGE. The Tesla CEO then escalated the fight on Thursday when he started sharing years-old comments from Trump raising concerns about the deficit. And then things got personal, with Musk claiming, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election," and Trump raising the idea of terminating contracts the government holds with Musk companies. On Friday, Trump said that he won't be speaking with Musk for a while, and a White House official says that the president plans to get rid of his Tesla he purchased back in March. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Coming up, the Department of Labor just released that May job report, and the data exceeded economics expectations. Why experts are saying some job seekers may feel that this is not good news.
And we're about 1 week into Pride Month. Why some corporations are toning down their support this year.
Rain is in the area. Find out what that means for your weekend next.
President Bashar al-Assad has been brought down.
Thousands of people celebrated.
The inside story of mass detention, torture, and killing, told by those who carried it out. And their victims.
ما بحسن يعني إنه يكون شادي عم يتعذب وأنا عم بسمع صوت العذاب.
ما بعرف كيف ممكن نتجاوز هالواقع وكيف بدنا نداوي جروحاتنا.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
For intelligent, insightful reporting.
Were you surprised that they were using Signal to talk about really sensitive stuff?
There have been screw-ups in Washington since time immemorial, but I can't think of one quite like this.
Join moderator Jeffrey Goldberg and the country's best journalists for incisive analysis of the most consequential stories.
There's been a lot of soul-searching on the Democrat side about what went wrong.
Once these tariffs go in, the question becomes how long they will stick to this policy and what will be the breaking point.
In the time it takes you to watch this 30 seconds, you can connect with your congressman at protectmypublicmedia.org to have them uphold federal funding for public media. Enter your info and address. You can use the existing letter or customize it. Then hit send. Go to protectmypublicmedia.org.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
It's been a sunny summer day here in Athens, but that's not what we really expected it to be. Earlier in the morning, we thought we were going to get a lot of rain specifically here, but we've been able to dodge it. north and south of us have not been as lucky, but right now we're sitting in the mid to low 80s, which is pretty nice compared to what we thought we were going to get. Now, I want to direct your attention to this humidity, what we have right now. We're at 52%, and that's why it's felt so humid today, and that's why if you have some thick hair, it's been maybe a bad hair day for you. And now the reason for this is this front that has just kind of been wobbling its way across our state for the better part of 2 or 3 days now, and it's just kind of stuck and doesn't really have anywhere to go, and it's been bringing all this rain and these clouds to our area. Now, we thought we were going to have cloud cover all day, but we didn't, and that has added another ingredient to the possible severe storms that we've been seeing all around us today. Now, with that, it's brought all this surface heating that helps kind of add the ingredients to the air, and so we have heat, we have humidity, and you can really tell where it hasn't rained yet. We're in the 70s in some places that have already seen rain, but down south of Athens, we're still upper 80s. And now that's essentially just kind of taken a pop can, if that was our atmosphere, and shaking it up, and it's just waiting for that cap to pop off so you can get an inch of rain, some hail, really anywhere, and you can really see on the radar just like the popcorning effect of all these thunderstorms that we had flooding north of Athens today on roads, not specifically here because we haven't really experienced any of that. So we're going to be looking out for that tonight because we still have all of these ingredients in the area for these thunderstorms to happen. Again, a lot of rain was seen earlier north of Athens. There is still a flood warning out in that area. Again, for tonight, that's going to stick around as we're only in the low 60s or mid 60s, excuse me. So we still are going to be watching for a thunderstorm until about midnight tonight. Once we get to the morning hours, though, is when we're going to see a little bit more of widespread rain and the threat for thunderstorms kind of goes out the window. But again, it's going to stick around because this front is just kind of wobbling and it's really not going to move out even by tomorrow night. Now, we have a little bit of a convective outlook, but it has pushed south of us, so we don't need to worry much about that. Tomorrow, again, a lot of sun is going to be able to move in throughout the day, so a high of 82. And then it kind of just sticks around on Sunday, so we will be watching out for this rain throughout the weekend because we're really not going to get a huge break. We're going to be on and off with these showers throughout the weekend, and we won't clear out until about Monday. So we're just going to watch this front slowly make its way out of our area and just dump a little bit of rain on our area throughout the next few days. Now, on Monday is when it starts to become a little less widespread because we have this front moving out. But once we get to Tuesday, we have another chance for some severe weather. And that is about a break for at least the middle part of next week before we have some moisture move back into our area at the end of the work week next week.
Now, Steve, you talked about the flooding earlier on in our coverage area this morning. With the rain moving in, do you think that flooding is something that we need to be on the lookout for throughout the rest of the weekend?
So not particularly us because we didn't experience any of that rain, but north and south of us who have already gotten rain, if they get much more, they are in a little bit of a warning for some floods.
Okay, well, no fishing for me. Thank you, Steve. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the U.S. economy added 139,000 jobs last month. That's down from the reverse 147,000 job positions reported in April, but it's more than many economists expected. Consistent estimates that FactSet said many analysts had forecast 130,000 jobs for the month of May. The national unemployment rate remains unchanged at 4.2%. While the White House is pleased with many May jobs report, some economists see potential slowdown signs. Experts say those looking for a job may not feel the report matches their reality.
I think that the headline numbers aren't necessarily representing the lived experiences of the people in the economy right now.
While jobs were added in industries like healthcare, leisure, and hospitality, retail and manufacturing hiring dropped. Temporary hiring also decreased, meaning summer job seekers may have harder time finding part-time work. The report also highlighting a daunting landscape for new grads. And as companies slow down hiring, current workers are staying put.
Big brands are pulling back on Pride events this year. For years, June was increasingly a rainbow-filled month for many big corporations. But this year, some retailers and brands are going quiet. Leah Waldman has more.
Pride is more than just a weekend. Pride is more than just a month. Pride is all year round.
For 45 years, St. Louis has celebrated Pride with a free festival. This year, that's changing. Pride Fest goers will have to pay a $10 entry fee because the organization has lost more than $150,000 in corporate sponsorships, including St. Louis headquartered Anheuser-Busch, which pulled its support after a 30-year partnership.
It was simply a quote on a phone call that was, we no longer see the value in the relationship, end quote. And that was all we got.
We've reached out to Anheuser-Busch for comment, but haven't heard back. It's not the only brand scaling back. According to a survey of more than 200 corporate executives by Gravity Research, 39% plan to do the same this year. New York City Pride is feeling the impact as well.
We are about 25% down from our fundraising goal, which equals about $750,000.
The subdued corporate support marks a shift in recent years. Businesses are scrapping some of their programs to advance diversity in the workplace under pressure from the Trump administration. With this shift, some Pride events are reincorporating Pride's original purpose: protest.
To us, protest can mean so many things. Protest is protest. Being queer joy is protest. Being visible is protest.
We will not go backwards. We will not tolerate these actions from this administration and from this state.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Next, the summer sun is out and many want to get outside and enjoy the sunshine. But too much time outside can lead to skin problems. What experts say you can do to protect your skin.
The Renaissance is endlessly conflicted and violent. And once you start to mix art and money, it's a lethal cocktail.
Michelangelo knows that he is going to be judged.
When it's finished, Leonardo moves to a new level of fame.
Raphael is going to steal Michelangelo's legacy.
Rivalry is embedded within the Renaissance.
Beyond the clamor of modern life, we're all searching for answers to life's biggest questions.
We begin to ask questions of the soul, what we believe, why we believe it.
We're all different in myriad ways, and yet here we are, sharing something.
We speak with leaders who have made it their life's work to examine and uncover the wisdom we all seek.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
So, about that garage of yours. Lots of stuff in there, huh? If you want to make serious space, start with the biggest obstacle in sight. Donate that unwanted vehicle, and we'll put it toward more hours of your favorite programs on public television. You might even get a sweet tax deduction, along with space for that ping pong table. Give us a call to learn more. And thanks.
The age of discovery is now. It's like magic.
Act like you're having a good time.
I am. Isn't it wonderful?
Hey, I can do better than that. Brace yourself. The world's changing. Very poetic.
It's one of the coolest animal stories on the planet.
This role as a caregiver is an emotional ride.
Be ready to be amazed and have that wonder.
It's that time of the year again where we're outdoors a little more often and under the sun.
Overexposure to ultraviolet rays can not only raise the risk of developing skin cancer, but it can also cause painful sunburns. Mandy Gaither has more on how you can protect your skin this summer.
From the pool to the beach, or even just playing outdoors, this time of year we're exposed to excessive amounts of sun.
If you're starting to feel uncomfortable, you've already experienced the start of a sunburn.
Dr. Susan Masick with The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says sunburns may take up to 5 hours to show. If you suspect you're getting burned, she says to get indoors and out of ultraviolet light exposure. Once inside, stay as cool as possible. Get into air conditioning or in front of a fan, or take a cold shower. Cold compresses can also help, so can ice packs, but wrap the pack in a towel so they're not directly on burned skin. She says anti-inflammatory medicines like ibuprofen can also make you feel better, as well as aloe vera gel to keep skin cool.
You want to avoid anything that could be occlusive or that will trap in heat. So avoid any types of ointments or creams or heavy moisturizers that will just make you feel even more warm.
Since excessive UV ray exposure also raises the risk of skin cancer, Masick says it's best to avoid sunburns altogether. You can wear ultraviolet protection factor or UPF clothing, rash guards, swimsuits, and wide-brimmed hats, or apply a broad-spectrum sunscreen about 15 minutes before heading outdoors so it has time to absorb, and reapply every 2 to 3 hours.
But certainly if you find that you're perspiring or sweating or swimming, you may want to reapply sooner.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, what one elephant stole during a heist at a store in Thailand.
The Ohio Art Corridor is a destination experience. We would like this to be the largest outdoor art gallery in the world.
Portsmouth was able to field an incredible team for a brief moment in the sun that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship.
We got land granted to us in Ohio. Great opportunity. Let's go. How would you know you got here? It was just sheer determination and patience and just hard, back-breaking work.
The bridge was acclaimed at the time of being an engineering marvel.
Progress is all about taking the lessons of the past and doing better. So I would hope that now that we know better, we will do better.
I just found something quite extraordinary.
Look at those teeth. 150 million years ago, the oceans were dominated by a mysterious sea monster, and this could be one of the largest, best-preserved skulls ever found. Now, working with scientists, we can uncover more about this prehistoric giant than ever before. Would this be the greatest Jurassic predator that ever lived?
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
It's the greatest spectacle on Earth.
This is a monster. It's a big one.
They'd all disappeared until now.
A convenience store owner in Thailand was caught off guard by a very unusual thief, a wild elephant. The animal was caught on a surveillance camera walking up to the shop. It used its trunk to move a freezer, and it helped itself to some really sweet treats. The store owner says it's not unusual to see elephant pass through right in front of the shop, but it had never approached the store like this before. Rangers were called. They were eventually able to shoo the elephant away, but not before it ate several bags of dried bananas and peanut snacks. Must have been hangry. So guys, if you guys were an elephant, or if you guys could steal stuff from a convenience store, what would you steal?
Probably ice cream. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of ice cream. Looked like the elephant was too, though.
Yeah, probably like Oreos or something.
Honestly, if I was the elephant right now, I would be stealing an umbrella with some of the weather we've been having recently, and especially for tonight, as we are still gonna maybe see a thunderstorm or two before midnight and an overnight low of 64. So make sure, again, bring that umbrella if you have any plans tonight. Looking into this weekend, it's gonna be pretty rainy. We're gonna have showers sticking around for a majority of this weekend before we get to about Sunday, and that's when the front starts to move out. And then on Monday, we get a little bit more moisture and a possible thunderstorm on Tuesday before we dry out in the midweek next week.
That's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Steve Nedlick, I'm Noah Cavan.
And I'm Courtney Smith. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.